Welcome back, everybody, from a quick 3-week break. Should we start there?
We can start there.
It's kind of embarrassing.
No, it is embarrassing.
We were on a roll, I think, for quite a long time, and then all of a sudden, Tampa, Florida happened, and then I think we just kind of thought we were busy. And I think we were busy.
I was going to say thought we were busy. We've been a little busy.
But define busy.
Define busy?
Nah, I don't want to
Busy is a relative term.
It is.
So the big question is this. How are leaders like you that recognize people and technology are the backbone of the company they're building continue to make progress when they have no clear idea on how to develop individuals and utilize technology in a way that helps them remain profitable? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is Tom and Michaela, and welcome to the Heart and Hustle Podcast.
But you know what I have got to figure out, though, and I've been watching you from afar for these past 2 weeks. It's like my world, I've been me inside the IT world, I think, up until really these past month, maybe month and a half. I'm gone a lot. I'm visiting people. I'm in their world. I am conversing with them, meeting with them, working with them, and then like a month ago, this all flipped.
It totally
and
flipped.
Here I am, hunkered out,
working all by your lonesome in the
working
nest.
all by my lonesome in the nest, and got my team and everything else. I'm like, where's my partner in crime? She be gone.
I am out.
And she's racking up the miles on the vehicles.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a role reversal for us because
And I'm all about role reversal, but
I was always at home, or at the office.
You're
doing my thing.
Yeah.
I was always working.
Yeah, you're all misstable. You're here. You're always holding down the office, everybody here, and I'm calling in for updates or vice versa. And now it's like completely just swapped.
Yeah, I know. It is.
I don't know. I think it's good. I think that's bad, but kind of got to figure that one out.
Bad? Is it good or is it bad?
I don't know, but I have got to, these past few weeks, though, I've been watching you very closely, and I'm struggling to figure out which side of the coin that you are actually on.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, are you really on the employer side with the clients that you're working with, or on the employee side in which the clients you're working with? Because I'm kind of seeing like
Yes.
this yin in this yang poll
Yes.
from you.
100%. Both. Yes. Yes, and amen.
But
yes.
where do you want to be? I mean, literally, it's like we get this call and says, Miss Michaela, we have to go let somebody go, and you hop in your car, you drive 100 miles to help somebody, gracefully let somebody go in a place that you've never been, someone you never met, but had a job to do on behalf of the company. And that's hard.
That's not easy.
That's not easy.
Not easy. No, it's not easy.
I think HR is like, you watch these podcasts or these vlogs or these blogs, you read all about it, and
HR podcasts are boring. They're so boring.
And they're so crappy produced. They're like B-rated movies. Like it's crap. They don't have a Victoria or somebody else to edit. But it's funny. It's like every single one starts out, I'm here to discuss policy and procedure and compliance, and it's like, that's boring.
It is boring, but it's part of it.
It's
part of
needed.
it.
It's part of it.
It's like a necessary evil.
But it's like that's the crust.
Yes.
Of the banana pudding.
Mm-hmm.
And
we made some kick-ass banana pudding
we did.
pie this weekend.
We did, but you think of it, and it's like you got to have that policy and procedure. You got to have that base layer, but then you got to add some bananas on there. You got to add some difference, and then you add some pudding.
You definitely have to add the whipped cream.
You do, and it's funny because I just feel that HR in general, and I don't even like the term HR. I don't even like the term human resources.
Right.
but I don't know what else to call it. I wish somebody would just start calling it different, but it needs to be so much more on the employee side, on what motivates them, what keeps their hopes and dreams and wishes going, and almost like reporting back to senior management. It's like, yes, we have this thing with policy and procedure. Yes, we have everything that I think companies have to do to cross their T's and dot their I's. But it's just like, I feel that most employees don't necessarily always get heard inside of the workplace.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Maybe
but on the
listen
flip
to
hand
it.
side, we've hit this kind of
Crescendo.
this point in work history where I almost feel like we are more, the human resources or just culture is more concerned about the employees' happiness and well-being and individual autonomy than they are about business itself. And that's a problem because they are employed because there is a business there to run. And so I constantly find myself splitting right down the middle of those two, employer and employee.
Understand, but does that mean these organizations should have, at minimal, like an employee representative and employer representative, and they're the ones that need to work things through? Because
Yeah, that's called unions.
well, no, I understand this. I understand what you mean, but I mean, it's like I think employees need to see at the table, because I think sometimes they're afraid to talk to HR. And I don't know if you remember Charlie's Angels, one of my most favorite movies ever, most well-produced movies ever.
Really?
The first one, when Lucy
I
Liu
think you just like the Angels.
when Lucy Liu walks into that building in the elevator, and she's in her black leather outfit, and she goes whoosh, and it's like she's there to ship everybody up. And I feel like the employer thinks HR is there to do that. Like HR is Lucy Liu inside that movie. They're there to whip everybody together because the leadership team doesn't have the kahunas to do so. So we'll send HR to do it because they're the bulldog.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just like, I get it, I understand it, but there needs to be somebody speaking for the people as well.
Why can't that be one and the same?
I don't think most people can play good cop, bad cop very well. You are very good at it. I think you do a
good cop, bad cop all the time.
I think you're very good at it, but I think that takes an emotional toll on you personally.
Sure.
I think it takes an emotional toll on myself personally.
Why? Because of me?
Yes, I'm the one that has to deal with you.
Is it that bad?
I am the sounding board at times.
Sometimes you are.
I am.
Yeah. But vice versa. I mean,
And
that goes both
99%
ways.
of the time, she does not take my advice. Thank God. So
There's a reason.
There's
I
a
take your
reason.
advice a lot, actually.
But just saying, though, I think HR needs to be redefined inside the marketplace. And I see these HR consultants out there, and I think, we as a company, Soarin Group, our organization, and how we define HR is just so different. I don't want to be known for the company that comes in and says, let's let us help develop your policies and procedures and your compliance and yitty. I mean,
That's where it always starts out, though.
But
Because that's what people can wrap their head around.
I think that's what they can wrap their head
That's
around.
what employers get. That's what they can see in black and white. That's what they know they need. That's what they can wrap their mind around. And
Well,
it's not until...
we're dealing with some real life issues right now with some clients and some employers that are having some real life people issues.
Yeah.
And it's not about compliance anymore. It's not about policy and procedure. It's about human beings.
Well, ultimately, it never was.
No. And I think they are struggling. And what's going on is that they are at the point where they know they have a problem. They know that they're dealing with this person or people that are having behavioral or emotional issues, and they may or may not be working out inside their marketplace or their work, but they don't know how to deal with them. They're stuck. They're literally stuck. They don't know what to do. They have a person over there that is hurting, that needs help, that but they are unable to show compassion and empathy, the hard skills. They're unable to do so. And what
I see it flipped.
Here we go.
All the time too, though. I see it flipped where they are compassionate, they are caring, they do want to do what's best for that employee. But they care so much that they're putting their business in jeopardy.
I see it. I understand.
The flip hand side is happening actually more often than your original point. It happens both ways.
Yes.
But I'm seeing more and more that they have so much compassion and care and empathy for their employees that it's putting their entire team in jeopardy. And that's a problem as well.
I agree. But what's a company going to do about that? What is an organization? And I'm thinking, not from a client perspective and not from our internal perspective, how we deal with individuals and people. I'm thinking from a business, from a viable HR consulting company on how they want to enter the marketplace, go into business. Like if you were going to coach, John Doe or Jane Doe, and that person says, Michaela, I really want to start my own HR consulting company. What field, quote unquote, of HR should I go into? What would you recommend that they do?
I think that's a loaded question. I think what their goal is in HR, what HR means to them. I think that because there's several different areas of HR. There's recruiting, there's the policies and procedures, there's payroll, there's 100 different avenues and functions that HR carries out, but what is it that they are interested in?
I think HR, for me, I think HR more closely resembles an accounting career of black and white than not.
How so?
I think that,
I think HR is anything but black and white.
I think HR is anything but black and white, but that's what you and I believe that HR is as well. So, wow.
What did you just say?
If HR was divided, and I'm trying to do simple math here, it's late. If HR is divided up into 16 different pieces.
Yes.
I think 14 pieces of it is black and white. I think you have policy, you have procedure, you have processes, you have hiring and firing and offboarding, you have payroll, you have very black and white procedures. And I think the other two are extremely gray.
I agree with that.
And that's why I think the HR profession is more accounting-esque, black and white. However, 99% of the problems are that of the gray.
Exactly.
So it's like you have HR, someone's going to have to correct me, but if there's 16 different types of HR, I mean, there's payroll, there's processes, there is compliance, there's all this stuff, and then you have the human element. And that human element is the two little blocks over here. I'm not sure if Victoria can show this, but show 14 black dominoes and 2 white ones over here or vice versa. And it's like the hard part of it, the 99% of HR that sucks, is that last 2 dominoes.
And that is the most critical piece for a business owner.
But if you're going to consult with someone and say, hey, Mr. John Doe or hey, Miss Jane Doe, if you're going to consult in HR, you recommend what? I think the 14 dominoes can be solved very easily.
Sure.
I think the services like Bambi or PEO or ADP or any type of those types of services out there, they can fix 90% or maybe even 93% of the HR issues, but that last 7%, it takes someone special. And I think very few people have the ability to do that. I think counselors maybe, I think behavioral health specialists maybe, but even them, it's too deep into it at that point. I think you need a really good person to understand human behavior. Why did somebody do something like that? Why is a CEO being a jerk? Why is the employee not thinking so much of his or her coworkers? And that's where all the emotional stuff happens.
Yep, 100%.
So where do we fit in as Soarin Group? Where do we fit in there? We sometimes lead with that first 93% of it. Mm-hmm. Is it because that's what people know?
Well, like I said earlier, it's because that's what people can grasp. That's what they can wrap their mind around. That's what they can check off their to-do list. Right. And it's that 2% that you're talking about, right. the real people issues, the real root of the issues.
Which I think everybody freaking avoids.
They avoid it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with it. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes mental and emotional energy. And it's not something that you cross off the list and move on. I mean, it's something that takes time and energy and emotion, and it just never is done.
But I think, I think we've hacked it though. When we meet with people, when we speak to people, when they call you on Sunday, when they call you on Saturdays, when they're texting you on Thursday evenings or, at 5 a.m. on Wednesday mornings, you've hacked it because now they're at the point where they truly care what your opinion is and what your thought is in and around those areas. It's not about, when they're texting you and calling the organization asking about certain things, it's not about compliance.
No, never.
Has never anything to do with the black and white. Well, maybe there's certain things, but at the end of the day, it's always about people.
Yeah.
So I think HR needs to be redefined into the point where it's not about compliance and policy, because that's the easy stuff. Mm-hmm. That's the easy stuff that people can do. That does not take a rocket scientist. You don't need to be, yes, sure, you can be certified, I guess, but you don't need to have, you don't need to really showcase that as your strength, that you start with policy and procedure and process, because that at that point is a red ocean. Everybody does it. Mm-hmm. What's really hard is that blue ocean piece of it where you're really good with people.
Yeah.
I think that really, really, I don't know. That's my viewpoint, I guess. And that's where I think watching you from afar these past several weeks, past several months it's been the people side. It's been just dealing with people issues, and you cannot deal with that over Zoom calls. You cannot always deal with those over voice conversation or text. It's like you have to be there in person, face to face, one-on-one. It's a very hard business to scale.
It is.
And unless you replicate...
I'm trying to figure out how to scale it.
Unless you replicate you or replicate the team, it's very difficult. Mm-hmm. And even going through the interview process of trying to hire, we've had... I don't know how many applications come in for HR individuals for our company to join us. And it's very difficult to weed them through, because it's just like, yeah, you're smart. You have a degree. You have all this stuff. And by God, we don't really give a crap if there's a degree or not. But you have industry certifications over, certain standards, which some people think are important. But what's it going to be like when you're talking to Bob Jones about the guy or the gal that you're going to be letting go that you've never met, and show utter compassion?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard process. Yeah. It's scary for me.
Yeah, me too. It makes me nervous too.
Yep.
I don't know. I know that this week starts our quarterly business review process, which I know you're nervous about.
I am nervous about that. Yeah. That's a big couple weeks.
It's a big few weeks here. I know on the IT side, I think Ben's going to be, taking over a lot of those key points for me and kind of getting his sea legs going. So I think that'll be good on that piece of it. But I know there's a process on the HR side that we have to work through and work out as well.
Yep.
So anyways, let us know your thoughts. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I full of crap? I don't know. Usually I'm full of crap, but kind of want to figure out what is the hard piece here with HR. And I guess feedback would be great.
Yeah. Why not?
Anything else?
When are we going to talk about IT stuff? Okay.
How about just the me stuff? See ya. All right.